to the catastrophe that is the Biden presidency. Even his most enthusiastic supporters in the media can no longer hide the pure incompetence and malice of this cognitively impaired joke of a leader.
Thank you. May God bless you all, and may God protect the troops and all those standing watch for America. We have so much to do. It's within our capacity to do it. We just have to remain steadfast. Steadfast. We will complete our mission, and we will continue after our troops have withdrawn to find means by which we can find any American who wishes to get out of Afghanistan. We will find them and we will get them out. Ladies and gentlemen, they gave me a list here. The first person I was instructed to call on was Kelly O'Donnell of NBC.
He couldn't even deliver a coherent, prepared statement for a minute. And he blurts out that he has to go to the person he was instructed to call on. This is the leader of the free world. They tell him who to call on. This is how he runs press conferences, even today, reading from an auto cue and answering questions from pre-approved selected media who have submitted their questions. The bulk of the mainstream media are complicit in this disastrous presidency. They refuse to cover Biden's obvious mental decline during the campaign, refuse to cover the Biden file stories concerning his family's dodgy dealings with China, the Ukraine and other places. And to this day, they give him and his inept administration soft coverage, even as it loses control of the country's southern border, sees inflation soar, and creates a host of energy supply issues. But back to the botched Afghanistan withdrawal. Biden's weakness and poor judgment has led to this carnage. He owns this catastrophe completely. He has botched every element of this withdrawal. The latest disastrous incident saw 13 service members and many more Afghans killed in a possible Islamic State terror attack in the Afghan capital. Officials say at least 60 people have been killed in suicide bombings outside Kabul's Hamid Karzai International Airport.
Read to you what is so painful for me and so many other Afghan veterans who served in that capacity and others who served as a part of the train, advise, and assist, equip effort in helping the Afghans. We now know that due to the negligence of this administration, the Taliban now has access to over $85 billion worth of American military equipment. That includes 75,000 vehicles, over 200 airplanes and helicopters, over 600,000 small arms and light weapons. The Taliban now has more Black Hawk helicopters than 85% of the countries in the world. But they don't just have weapons. They also have night vision goggles, body armor, medical supplies, and unbelievably, unfathomable to me and so many others, is that the Taliban now has biometric devices which have the fingerprints, eye scans, and the biographical information of the Afghans who helped us over the last 20 years. And here's what we just learned again in the briefing that we just walked out of, is this administration still has no plan to get this military equipment or these supplies back.
That was Jim Banks, a member of the US House of Representatives. Yes, the Taliban has access to tens of billions of American military equipment, plus they also have fingerprints, eye scans and biographical data of Afghans who helped us, who helped the Allies. How did that happen? Well, this is Politico's explanation. They report US officials in Kabul gave the Taliban a list of names of American citizens, green card holders and Afghan allies to grant entry into the military-controlled outer perimeter of the city's airport, a choice that's prompted outrage behind the scenes from lawmakers and military officials. One defence official said, basically, they just put all those Afghans on a kill list. Giving Islamic extremists who chant death to America the names of American citizens, green card holders and Afghan allies. Can you think of anything more insane than that? Let's look at how Biden reacts here when a journo asks, what will you do if Americans are still in Afghanistan after the deadline?
They're still in Afghanistan after the deadline. What will we do if Americans are still there after the deadline?
He smiles and mutters something before the White House wisely cuts the audio feed. We won't know what he said unless you can read lips. Elections have consequences, and Americans are seeing just how disastrous those consequences can be.